G'day. Hope you're doing well. The boys are here. Scott, Becca. Oh, Becca, you've been relegated to the bottom tier this time. Gents, how are we?
Good.
He's finally in his rightful place.
Oh, wow.
Here
we
we
just
go.
got here.
Starting this hot, boy.
Obviously, we normally have Maddie with us as well. Hope you're doing well. Whoever checks out this bullshit, whether you do it on Facebook or YouTube, or you can check it out on Spotify too. Search Cooked Punts FC. Matt is not with us tonight, and the reasoning why is because he is a coward.
I was wondering where you're going there with that one.
I say g'day in the comment section kind of thing. As you go to, if you can chuck any bed slips through or whatever, that would be grand as well. A disappointing weekend on the punt for all of us. I think I got relatively close with. I had about an 8-legger of favourites, and it wrapped up with the Dragons needing to beat the Warriors, paying about $600-$700. And
more than that, wasn't it? Wasn't it like 900? Sorry,
depends who's asking.
We don't disclose amounts on this show, Becca. That's not how we roll.
I
MD, how are you? Yeah, so Dragons shat the bed. Warriors somehow pulled that out, and we all got fucked in the ass. Not in a good way. Speaking of assholes, did you watch the Newcastle Sharks game? What is that, Friday night?
Unfortunately, I did.
Yeah. I had a little same gamer on there that was paying about half of what you just quoted then. And unfortunately, I needed Kailyn Ponga to score first try, which he did. I needed Connor Tracy to score anytime, which he did. What a gun, by the way. He's having a great season. And then I needed the Sharks to win. And as we know, Kailyn Ponga scored on the buzzer to win the Knights.
And they say Jordan had his flu game. Ponga had his poo game, apparently, at halftime. And the whole leading up to it, he was not well. That guy, 2 tries, couple of assists. And to think there are still people on this planet that say, I don't know if he's the fullback for Origin for Queensland. Fuck me dead. I mean, and I'm biased as a Newcastle fan, but I feel like I watch him more closely. I'm a New South Wales fan. I know watching that game, he puts the fear of God into me. And he's a beautiful man, too.
I don't think anyone who says they wouldn't pick him at fullback is not going to have him in the side, though. I don't think you find anyone who wants him left out of the Queensland camp.
Well, I think
at worst, he's playing 14.
Yeah,
he plays
short memories, though. You haven't seen a lot of him recently. Brimson had a pretty good series. People have short attention spans and memories, and they just forget how good he is.
And everyone felt like they were a bit cut short on Brimson in the series last year because I think he played 2 or 1. I can't remember. He got injured.
I think he only played 1, but he played pretty well.
And he was awesome.
He's a gun. He's a top maybe 7 or 8 fullback, but I think Ponga's probably a top 5. But then again, none of us are experts. We're average punters, very average at that. By the way, David Lee's echoing our sentiments. That's what do you say, Becca? You got to chase your losses because they can't run forever.
Give up.
That's it, and that's the opposite of what all the gambling sites will tell you. It's up to you whether you listen to us 3 dickheads or you listen to the professionals. But let's get into our locks of the week. For those of you that may be either listening on Spotify for the first time or watching, whatever it might be for the first time, locks is a very loose term. Certain people on this show have very different definitions of a lock. Some would say a lock is maybe between a 2-to-1 to I would say 25-to-1, 30-to-1 ratio. Other people have different interpretations where 100-to-1 can still be a lock for them, which is fine. Let me start, gents. This is going to be a bit different this week because normally we're set up different on the screen, but Matt's a coward. And he's not here. That's not going to fucking work. That's not going to fucking work. That's not going to fucking work. That's going to have to do. This is my lock. So, rolling through it, a 4-legger, which, by the way, these are exuberant odds for me. I'm normally, lately I've been going 3-to-1s, 4-to-1s, 5-to-1s because my punting heart has been broken. But I thought, fuck it this week. 4 legs. Paul Gallen, I got on him when he was still paying $2.50. He boosted up But I think now, Becky, you checked before. He's what, $2.15, $2.20,
$2.25.
Okay. Now, if anyone knows anything about people punching people, well, actually, Becca knows a lot about getting punched and mistaken identity, but that's a story for a long time ago.
Wow.
But
I
never
said that was off the though when we talked about that, did I? Fair game.
The world of fighting, Scott, you know a bit about. I mean, I don't know fuck all. So this fight
I watch
tonight,
a lot. I don't know shit, but I watch a lot.
Jeez, that's pixelated. The guy that looks like he's straight out of Lotus Glen, which is a prison up here in Cairns, versus Paul Gallen, who's in the form of his life. A lot of people have touted it as the fight of two baddies. Is Gallen okay money, or is Brown going to knock his head off?
I would say it's pretty good money. I mean, we have absolutely no idea what condition Lucas Brown is in. And obviously, in his prime, he would be a better boxer. But the same goes with Mark Hunt. You know, he fought like a 48-year-old Mark Hunt who looked like he hasn't done anything since his retirement. And I mean, I would imagine that's what Paul Gallen is hoping for, that his brick of a forehead can get him through the first round, and then he can just win on points. But that actually seems feasible to me. Yeah, that seems like a feasible outcome.
I know nothing about this, but if you look at it like this, if either of them are there just to make a pay packet, I think maybe Lucas Brown is. If someone who's got something to prove, it's probably Paul Gallen, because people keep writing him off, and he punched away at the NRL and eventually won a premiership. So he's got that attitude, keeping on turning up.
It must hurt you to say nice things about Gallen, by the way, as a Queenslander. But why don't you go, if you are purely looking at tonight, roll Paul Gallen into some sort of multi just to win, and then have old mate Mudguts, what's his name?
Lucas Brown.
Lucas Brown. Why don't you go him first round? Because he's paying $14 to win in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I would go. If he's going to win, it's going to be a first round, early second round TKO, KO.
Just fucking headbutt him.
Just give him the old Irish kick.
But I just look at Gallen's head, and I just can't. It's tough to imagine it getting rocked enough to drop him, because it looks like a thick skull.
He survived about 14 straight State of Origin losses. If he can do that, he can survive a couple of punches in the first two rounds. I'm hoping Gallen game plan. If you're listening, perhaps maybe you're checking this out pre-fight. Run for the first 3 to 4 rounds till old mate potentially gets tired, and away you go from there.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Just the Homer Simpson move. Just keep getting punched until they get tired.
Well, it didn't work. What was it, Frederick Tatum? Just fucking fucked him. Like he almost died. Anyway, keep rolling. KP. And I realize Newcastle are playing the Panthers, and this is a biased bet, but I do feel you're going to score at least, fucking touch wood. You're going to score at least 1 to 2 tries, and their whole offensive setup is run through Kailyn Ponga, and if he doesn't score, he's going to be the one that sets it up. So I'm hoping he slices and dices Viliami, Maggi Noodles, hair, kick out, hopefully he falls off a tackle. Ponga slices through. The Knights lose 34-10, but KP helps this along. And then a bit of aerial ping pong. I know that a few people that watch this like that game. I like it when I gamble on it. I actually think these are absolutely fucking locks. The Gold Coast stink at the ping pong. Sydney Swans have been playing well. They lost by 2 points on the weekend against GWS. I don't know what that means, but they lost by 2 points against GWS. $1.67. And then Brisbane, who are a really good team, and Carlton stink as well, $1.67. Rounding into 24.84 is not bad.
Yeah,
I like it. I'll definitely be getting on that.
Hey, let me. I'm going to call Dobbo. Dobbo's called me. He's normally on the show, but he can tonight. Hey, you're live. You're live.
Am I?
Yeah. You behave. I thought you were out tonight with royalty. I didn't specify who.
No, I'm not. I've been there and done that. But, yeah, I'll let you go if you're live. I was just checking in to see how your dad was. So.
I appreciate it, my friend. He's had a little COVID test, but he's doing fine.
Oh, good on you.
Good right. I'll talk to you. Love you.
Does he have any garbage tips for us?
All right. No, he's off us. He did say today Brisbane won to 12, but I think he's been saying that every week.
Old man yelling at clouds, eh?
100%. Panthers due for a loss, yeah, but they won't. I mean, Newcastle scraped by the Sharks at home, and the Sharks had every reason to lose because
I was watching the Matty John show, and you know how they get Laurie Daly on every week to talk about his Loz's special that never gets up, and it's kind of like, just dare I say, it's a bit sad sometimes, considering he's coached Blues. And he was giving out a market saying, when will the Panthers lose next? And I can't remember what team it was, but it's round 11 is when the favourite round is for them to lose.
I will say that last year, the only team that didn't lose to Penrith was Newcastle. So
they drew with them, didn't they? Even after Golden Point, 14 all or something, wasn't it?
But Cleary wasn't playing. Cleary didn't play, and I think a couple others as well. Anyway, all right, Scotty, let's roll into your lock.
Oh, sweet. It's not showing up on the screen.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. What is wrong with your computer and your interwebs?
Yeah, get your hand off it. All right,
why
I
is
found it on my phone. Yeah, fucking whatever, mate. It's your setup. I'm trying to go with. I'm trying to go with that tight multi. I agree with Elliot. It's like a 2 to 25, 2 to 30 type of scenario with the locks, and Lord knows I could use a victory. So we're going to roll off the bat with Matty Burton, anytime try scorer. I think it's going to be something along those lines of your mid-30s to 6, mid-30s to 10. And I just feel like he's been dominating those edges. Like last week, I made the error of putting money on Crichton, and I just don't feel like he is a fullback who's going to score a lot of points. And I think Matt Burton's just dominating that center role at the moment. So put some money on him on the loose edge. Unfortunately, I put an AFL in there, but with my luck on the NRL, I think I can only go up, right? Isn't that how it works? So we're going Bulldogs over Greater Western Sydney. That should be a shoo-in. The next two.
I mean,
why? I'm just taking some information from other people. Bulldogs have had a good season though, and GWS is terrible. Look, I'm not going to out
your fucking source, Scott.
Look, if I win, then I'll get the source on as our new gimp. So
apparently, I watched the AFL footy show last night, which was painful. And they said this is the danger game of the round because GWS played so well. The Bulldogs due a loss, and $1.30 isn't great money. But again, hey, you have your sources. I only have the AFL footy show on Fox. So I'm sure that your sources know what they're talking about. Yeah.
Well, none of us know anything, but let's ride this weekend. Whoever wins more AFL punts, me or you, and we'll go with that being the tip.
I don't want to be involved in this little comp. You guys can have that.
So the next two I've just picked purely on the teams that I thought were playing weak edges. So I've gone with Jared Croker playing the Cowboys, which I think is good money. Their defense on those edges have been poor, and I've done the same with Tommy Turbs versus the Tigers. I think defensively, like their second rower lock sort of combinations have been poor defensively. So Tommy Turbo in the corners, and that gives a nice grand total of $18. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, I thought it was a good odds. You know, I think there's going to be 30-point games there, so I think you got good odds with those 3 try scorers.
All right. As we said, we all have different interpretations of our locks. Those listening purely through Spotify, I should have said Scotty's was, I think, 18 to 1. We had yours, was it? 18.6 to 1, pretty much.
Power play.
Mine was 24 to 1. Also, power play. These are done via Sportsbet. You can use whatever the fuck you use. Don't use. There's a couple of them. Just. I was going to say, I don't want to rule out the potential of any betting company coming on and helping us out one day when we have 3 people to watch this. But, yeah, a couple of them stink.
It honestly reminds me of back in the day when you're at the track and you'd have an old man who was a bookie and he'd have the little fucking signs up and he'd be changing the odds as you walk up and you're like, I want that one, and I want that one. And he's still like peddling his little thing. Just reminds me of that.
Play up? Have you guys used Play Up? So they don't have anytime try scorers. But
they don't have it.
You can
it's the most popular market
try
in
scorer off another. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh.
It's schoolyard.
Why do you exist? Anyway, moving on.
Becca's block, 111 to 1. Here we fucking go.
So, I stuck to the format I had last week. Oh, hey, Will.
Can we take a minute to appreciate Derek Croker? Absolute king. We're going to be second highest point. Deserves a premiership. All right. Consider him appreciated, Will. Fuck off.
Probably not going to happen this year. Nathan Clinic. Enough said. It's going to be another clinic from Nathan this weekend. I'm sorry, Elliot.
You're on him hard, eh? You love him.
He's on his
I never used to be, but here I am. It's hard to say.
Him and Will are best looking halves in the comp, surely.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable how young they are. Anyway, I think Nathan scores. I find it hard to believe he won't. Dave Fafita did not score last week. Neither did the Titans. So he's due. Clinton Gutherson at Bank West, much like Mike Acevo, who will feature in my Roughie later. Wait for that one.
Oh, God.
Gutho.
Don't learn, do you?
Gutho at Bank West. Jesse Ramian against the Bulldogs.
No, they're not at Bank West. You dickhead, they're in Darwin.
Oh, what?
TIO.
I just always look at which. I always look at which teams.
We were doing a proper radio show today, and we had Ben Tio on with us, and we're doing tips. I fucked so bad. What did I say? I said, the Warriors probably won't beat the Storm, but they're going to be up and about for Roger Tuivasa-Sheck's 200th. And Ben Tio looks at me and he goes, well, I mean, it was his 100th and it was last week, so it's not his 200th this week. I was like, oh, fuck. Honestly, I just there's nowhere I could dig and hide. There was no option. Like a fucking ostrich just head in the sand. There was nowhere to go. But yeah, Garthers and TIO, but they play well up there. I think I've only ever lost up there once. So.
Okay. Ramian to score. Probably not going to pass against the Dogs.
Yeah.
And Jack White in against my boys. I
like that too.
Yeah.
I don't hate that minus the Fafita thing. He's going to struggle against South to crash over, but you never know.
Cleary scored 2 weeks in a row now as well, I think. So this would be a third if he goes in. So
yeah, he has. Anyway, $1 of your money will get you $111.60.
$1 of your money.
Bonus. So get around that.
You guys are both Cows fans. Townsend, $700K a year, 3 years. He's 30. Good deal.
Yeah, I'm happy. Everyone's saying it's a bit much, but when you consider the position the Cows are in, having just lost Michael Morgan prematurely, I understand. And who else would we get? Looks like the fight for Adam Reynolds is a bit tough.
By the way, Adam Reynolds potentially. I mean, there's a few clubs that they're floating. Vossi said he's going to the Eels, but one of the ones they're saying is that he goes to the Sharks and he partners Sean Johnson, which could be electric.
That would be a juicy combination. I think with $700K a year, though, I mean, that's what you pay a halfback. Like, that's probably.
I think it would have taken that much money to lure him out of the Shire or out of Sydney to a place like Townsville.
Yeah.
Nothing against.
Yeah, you got to pay overs. But it's like you pay overs for. You pay overs for a car in regional markets because it's just what you do. You got to fucking pay overs for a player to get him to Townsville, and that place sucks.
Same thing about New Zealand as well. Like, I think New Zealand's probably a bit tougher because obviously it's a different country. But and then the next furthest would be North Queensland.
Well,
so what do they?
Oh, I was going to say as well with the Dearden combination because I thought Townsend and Dearden would be a similar style of player.
Yeah, that's a big if they get him.
Maybe that's where they're sort of looking, and this is complete bullshit speaking out my ass, but maybe, that'd be the last 3 years of Townsend's career. Maybe getting him up there as a mentorship role for your up-and-coming half, maybe something definitely that they're looking at there. And, I mean, they wouldn't be paying Dearden more than, 300?
I had it 300.
I reckon it'd be more because they free up the Morgo money, which is $1 million a year. They're going to have a lot of other money coming off the book as well, including Josh Maguire. I believe they're paying a little bit for him. I'd be surprised if they got Dearden to Townsville for 300. I wouldn't want to pay any more than 300 for him. He might end up being a superstar, but he's a kid, right? When they're unproven, you don't fucking know. It's like when everyone touted Darren Mullen to be the next Andrew Johns.
We'll let Kailyn Ponga go.
Let's say you do pick him up for 300.
He was unproven.
That's both Townsend and Dearden for the price of Morgan, and then you still got 600 in the cap with Maguire, so you could buy a really good outside back for that, like a good centre.
They need a strike centre, eh?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me, that combination. But
it's just good to see Todd Payton getting a bit of a say in the roster because he's inherited a lot of stuff that he didn't have a say in or wasn't his fault.
I like Todd.
It's good. I like him too. I think he's
straight
got
shooter.
Fucking oath. Goatee as well.
Yeah, there's something good looking about him. Like, I'm not in the business of sleeping with coaches, but yeah, he was an ugly front rower at the Tigers, and he's developed into a handsome man as a coach. Yeah. We should, you know what we need to do? Let's homework for next week. Can we do our top 5 power rankings of maybe just go the full 16? Your best looking coaches to the worst looking. If you can do from 1 to 16, we'll bring that next week.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
I'm looking forward to it. And I mean, yeah.
I've got
you always need something for the bank.
Send us something other than where's the white and blue?
I didn't even. Yeah, I mean Trent Barrett. Fuck.
His 10 was on.
I mean, how do you top that? I wouldn't even just shag Trent Barrett. I would shack up with him. I love Abby, and she's sitting out there, probably not watching this because she hates sports and punting. But I would fucking dump her in a second for Trent Barrett.
She'd probably be cool with it too.
She'd see it. She'd be like, you know what? I get it. We normally have a guy, we have to change his name. He comes on to give our horse tips. He had a certain name that Facebook decided that the way we were using the word was offensive. It wasn't meant to be. It was a different sexual meaning of that word, but that's fine. He is now the man without name. He is also like our friend Matt tonight and is unavailable. He is not here. However, none of the three of us know anything about horses, and I don't think we've been winning on horses since he gave us tips. But I did find out what he normally does is he gives us tips by trainers by the name of, and I don't know who the fuck these people are. They're probably very famous. Golan or I don't care. And O'Shea. So what I did is I went through the form guide.
Does he just look at? Does he just pick a trainer?
Yeah,
he doesn't look at like their runs or.
But hear me out. I did some homework for the boys because I don't want you guys.
Fucking lie.
I don't want you to miss out on losing money this weekend. So what I did, I went through Randwick, Doomben, Caulfield, and some other fucking thing, and I went through every horse that was done by O'Shea. There's so many. It speaks letters. O'Shea and Golan. So what we'll do is we'll put every single one of these horses on Facebook up for Saturday, and just, I mean, I don't want to tell you how much to put on a horse, but I mean,
one of these.
Yeah. And I mean,
that's apparently what the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10 horses total between Gollum and fucking the other one, O'Shea.
That's Becca lock odds for that one. Put them together in a multi and we're on.
By the way, if anyone actually knows anything about, if you know anything about horses, throw something in the comments because you know that we are very much easily gullible, I suppose is probably the best word, and we will jump on whatever you send through. All right, let's round out in a second. I want to go and watch a very legal stream of Gallon hopefully running around and beating the fat guy. But let's get into our fully cooked roughies to round things out. And Becca, I thought you'd be proud of this because my cooked roughies have been around the 30 to 1, 40 to 1s, 50 to 1s of late.
I said surprised.
Yeah, I said, let's go out 177 to 1. And you know what? It's a fullbacks game, baby. Fullback try scorers for the weekend. Kailyn Ponga, Clint Gutherson, Tom Travojevic, James Tedesco, Matt Duffy, and RTS, who is not playing his 200th game. He's playing his 101st to round things out. 50-50 chance I cash out after Duffy.
Heavily hedged on Kailyn. Because if he doesn't score, it fucks everything for you.
Mate, if Kailyn doesn't score tomorrow and Gowan loses tonight, I'm done. It'll be the quickest exit in CPFC history.
Yeah, you probably won't. You won't be putting any more bets weekend.
Yeah, definitely.
Got to save up for a racehorse or something responsible. So 177 to 1 for me. If you're listening via Spotify, by the way, we always put these bet slips up on Facebook. We'll have them up tomorrow when I can be fucked, probably on the toilet at some stage. Fully cooked roughies in Scotswold, 108 to 1.
Yeah, so I like trying to pick what I think is going to be a couple of outsider games for the weekend and roll them into a big fat roughie. Gold Coast Titans 1-12 with the Don to get a try. That's obviously
I've had a long,
outsider.
hard look at him this week. Hard look at him.
He's burnt us
back,
before,
man.
and he'll probably burn me again, but we'll see how it goes.
He hasn't scored yet, has he? Because he's been injured, and prior to that didn't score. And they're playing South.
You know when people hit their head really badly and they get amnesia and then they don't remember anything and then they hit their head again and they come back and they remember everything and they're what they were? I think that's what's happened with the Don and his injury. He's going to come back. He's going to be just as good as he was.
So the Titans, I think the Rabbitohs, they got a fair few injuries and suspensions out, so I think it's not actually a bad chance to have a crack at beating them.
Lateral's out and Mansour's, yeah?
Yeah, so I think there's a decent chance, they could get up. But like I said, it is a rougho. I've chucked in Sydney Swans because I thought Gold Coast was playing garbage, so that's probably a bit more of a safe bet. Will Kennedy, because I'm massively on him at the moment. I think he's playing great, and they're also playing the Bulldogs, so, 40 points. Richmond versus Melbourne, bit of a tighter game, but obviously Richmond's been playing some pretty good footy. And then
Melbourne's undefeated, yeah?
I do. That's why I said it's They are favourites for that game, slight favourites. But
who? Richmond?
Yeah, Richmond are.
Fuck. Yeah.
Well, they were when I put the bet on, so who knows now. And then outsiders as well. Seagulls and Ruben Garrick in the corner from a Tommy Turbo pass. That old will fetch you $1. Will fetch you $108. A little Becker line there.
I've got an awful feeling about this weekend, which means we'll probably win 108-1. All right.
And then Matt's never allowed back on the show because he's obviously the bad omen.
If we bag a couple of roughies, what do we do then? Because that's a formula for victory.
What? Just kick Matt off the show? Fuck you, coward. Where are we? Becca, I need your roughie. Here we go. 616-1.
This is
welcome to my world, everyone.
Yeah.
Penrith Panthers going to do a number on the Newcastle Knights. Again, apologies, Elliot. Ryan To'o has missed out for 2 weeks now, I think. And I think he bags a couple this week. For some reason, that's just Reds, not Reds negative 6.5 first 10 second half. It's just negative 6.5 at the result. I'm not sure why it's showing.
They're in Perth, aren't they? Not that it fucking matters, but
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parramatta 13+. Mike Seaver to bag a couple. I did, as we touched on before, thought they're at Bankwest, which is why I tipped that. I still kind of like it. Connor Tracy, talked about him before as well. Cronulla Sharks 13+. Manly and Turbo. It's just hard to forget what happened last week with Turbo. That's probably one of the best returns from injury I think I've seen. I'm not sure about anyone else.
I genuinely, I'm an idiot. I genuinely thought in my head, I was like, he's done so many hammies, the poor bastard. I don't think he's ever going to play to his full potential again. I thought if he does, it's going to take him a year to ease back into it. His involvements will be limited. As you just said it, that was probably the performance of the whole season.
Yeah, he had his hand in almost every try they scored.
And
it's not just that he doesn't defend as well. So obviously the boys are lifting for him as well, having him back. Sydney Roosters, Brett Morris was injured last week, and I think he's going to come back and make up for it with a meat pie. And that rounds out that one. For those of you listening and not watching, 616.63 for your $1.
50 cents. You get $300 back. All right. Finally, Gallon tonight. We like him, which probably means he loses. If you want to save your bottoms, Gallon just to win overall, roll it into a multi, or go Big Daddy Brown, Mr. Lotus Glen himself, into first round win, paying 14-1. I just checked those. Still the case on Sportsbet. Hopefully no one that he knows at any stage ever watches this stream, because he will definitely find me. Just want to reiterate, I live in Townsville.
I reckon he's a big sweetheart. I reckon he's a nice person.
Oh, he probably is. I think they all are behind the scenes, aren't they?
Yeah.
Big Daddy Brown, Paul Gallen, OJ Simpson, all of them.
Yeah. Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather,
I don't know about Floyd. He's a douchebag. All right, boys. Pleasure as always. Happy punting, everybody. Show us your slips. Send them through on our Facebook page, CPFC or Cook Punts FC. Spotify, if you end up enjoying what you listen to, what I say, be a friend and tell a friend about it. If you think it sucks, just pretend it never happened. Scotty, Becca, pleasure. Thank you, gents.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye.